So as we all know, at the end of 2023, with the release of Chapter 5, Fortnite decided to release 3 new core game modes, being Fortnite Festival, Fortnite Lego, and Fortnite Rocket Racing. Each of these game modes bringing along with them stuff like microphones, guitars, Lego skins, stuff like that, but my main focus was with Fortnite Rocket Racing and all of its cars. Being the car guy I am, I decided I had to go on a mission to collect every single car inside of Fortnite, and today we're going to be making an entire tier list video on every single car, going from S to D tier. This will be a thing that I'm probably stupid for doing, but I don't mind it because I'm a giant car fanatic. So yeah, let's get straight into this. Like, subscribe, and use code CVT inside the item shop, and let's get straight into it. Alright, so just so you guys know, I'm going to be ranking each of these cars off of key factors such as how many decals they have, and as well as how customizable they are, how much they cost as a car, and especially how it looks and sounds in game. Its audio is going to be very important, as well as like visibility and stuff like that. You'll know what I mean later on with visibility. You'll catch on. Basically, we're going to start off with the Octane being the first car ever inside of Fortnite. This is the first car everyone gets as soon as they log into the game past Chapter 5. This is Rocket League's most iconic car, as well as Rocket Racing's, because it is a very sweaty car, for one. It is the free car that everyone gets for 2, and for 3, it feels honestly really smooth. But we're not here about that right now. We're here about how it is as a car overall compared to all the others. So I would definitely say it is a very nice sounding car, but it doesn't look the greatest in my opinion. It has, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it has 42 decals inside the game right now. That's more than any other car. And take this into account too, most of those are from challenges, right? But a lot of these actually cost money inside of Rocket League itself. A lot of these decals cost a lot overall, so if you're looking for a lot of customization for this car, that's going to cost you more than a lot of the other cars would cost you overall. So adding that into the equation, it's definitely dropping down a lot, honestly. But if you're just going to like have the Octane as like a free-to-play car, just like have it free, maybe get the challenge decals, then yeah, it really just depends with this car. But for me, I would say it's about probably like a mid-C for me, just because the fact that there are a lot of better looking cars out there than the Octane, especially if you take into the account like all the shop cars and stuff like that. But it is a really nice car to have as a starter car. Not that bad at all, especially compared to some of these other cars that you'll see later on. But I would say that the Octane is in C tier, probably mid-C, high C, something like that. But we'll see how it stacks up compared to the other cars later on. But let's get into the next one, being the Scorpion. Now, the Scorpion is Fortnite's only Battle Pass car. I think it has around, off the top of my head, I think it was 7 or 8 decals, probably 3 or 4 of those being unique to the car. Now, I like a lot of these decals designs, and the car does look and sound very, very nice, honestly. It sounds really like a muscle car. But the fact that it was in the Battle Pass is a really good thing, but I'm just sad we haven't got any other Battle Pass cars inside of Fortnite lately, honestly. Like, we've had all these, like, jam stuff, like, for Festival, all these Lego kits inside of the Fortnite Battle Pass, but we haven't had a car in a very, very long time. I'm guessing that's mostly because of the Rocket League Pass and how many people buy that in the crew each month. But for the Scorpion, it feels really well, it plays really well, it sounds honestly really well, so I'm going to put that in, I'd say, low B, because there are a lot of other cars that do stack up against it very, very nicely. You'll see those cars up in the future, but yeah, let's give it that probably B, maybe low B, mid B right there. We'll see how it stacks up against the other cars later on though, just like the Octane, and yeah. Alright, we'll go ahead and get on into the Jager next. Now, this was one of the first 3 vehicles inside of the Fortnite item shop, being the Jager, the Cyclone, and the Diesel. The Jager was $2,500 back then, but then they lowered the price down to $1,500. We'll talk about that controversy in a bit when we get to the Diesel. But the Jager is a very, very nice car. I think having 8 or 9 current day decals, one of them being an Adidas decal, the other one being a Metallica decal, well, the 2 collab ones at least. Very, very nice car. It was very nice to have it at the beginning of Fortnite, and it was nice to see at the beginning of Fortnite that they were combining all the car bodies into a single bundle worth 1,500 V-Bucks rather than making you pay for each individual car body color like they do in Rocket League, each costing 700 credits each. That was a really nice breath of fresh air. But like I said, back then it was 2,500 V-Bucks. I'm glad that they did reduce the price on these Rocket League cars down to 1,500. But the Jager will always have a really special place in my heart because that's the first car I ever wanted inside of Fortnite. Unfortunately, back then, I couldn't get it because it was 2,500, like I said. And, yeah, I think I'll give it a, probably low A, honestly. Low A for now. Well, I guess it isn't really low A because there isn't any other cars in A. But right now, we'll give it an A, and we'll see how it stacks against the other cars, mainly being because it was a pretty cheap car, not by today's standards. We're not going to talk about the Lamborghini yet, but it's a pretty cheap car by today's standards in the cars inside of Fortnite, and it is a very nice looking car, nice sounding car. As a decent amount of decals, each unique in their own way. I'm pretty sure it has the most unique decals, besides the Octane, out of every car inside the game at this current moment, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be giving it that A title for sure. And we'll go ahead and head on into the Cyclone next. Alright, so next up is the Cyclone. The Cyclone was one of the other original cars inside the Rocket League item shop. No, Rocket League. Rocket Racing, I mean. It was 2,500 back then, just like the Jager was, but later reduced down to 1,500, just like the Jager was. The Diesel was a little bit more pricey, but we'll talk about that later. But the Jager being a good replacement to the Porsche 911 GT3 RS that's currently in the game. We'll talk about that later. Like, in my opinion, it's kind of a good replacement. It looks like a cheaper version of the car at the very least, and it is cheaper. But the Cyclone is a replacement of the 765 LT. Both of those being the respective cars that your mom has at home, honestly. It's like that one meme. Hey, can we have this? No, we got that at home, but it's the McLaren 765 LT against the Cyclone. The Cyclone, though, does still sound really amazing. And it looks amazing. Has high visibility with how flat it is. You see what I mean now with the visibility. But, yeah, the Cyclone is a very special car. Not only did it get the Adidas decal with the Jager, but it also got the first icon creator car, as in like people like Nick A30, Cypher PK, stuff like them. But it has a Nick A30 decal, being the first one ever. I'm pretty sure somebody else is getting one soon with the Behemoth, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the Cyclone, though, very, very nice car. I'd give it, it's definitely worse than the Jager, in my opinion at least. That doesn't mean it's your opinion, but it's my opinion on that part. I'm going off my opinion for this tier list, but the Cyclone, probably lower A. Lower A than the Jager, maybe high B actually. Yeah, let's go with the high B actually. Yeah, high B. Because like I like the car and everything, but it looks more like a normal car to me. Like one that you just see every day kind of. Well, I mean, like it looks like a replacement to the 765 LT like I said earlier, but it also has that kind of combo of like normalism that makes it like kind of like a middle ground, like the Scorpion is in a way. But either way, let's get on into probably the most controversial car inside of Fortnite ever, the Diesel. So yeah. Now, I'm not sure if I need to introduce you to this car, the diesel, but just in case I do, this was one of the original 3 rocket racing cars. It's the first Fortnite original car, taking place in a lot of the rocket racing trailers. It was one of the poster childs for Fortnite at that time. But the reason why I call it the most controversial car of all time instead of Fortnite, instead of the Lamborghini, is because this thing cost an astounding 4,000 V-Bucks. Now, that's about 500 V-Bucks more than the Lambo cost, but nobody, and I mean nobody, was paying for this car back then. Unless you were just like crazy like I am, because I am making this video, so this is absolute proof that I'm crazy. But later on, this car was reduced down to 2,500, so Epic did eventually listen to the community and give in to our demands of reducing the prices of the cars. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Just think for a second, right? Just think for a second. The Jager and the Cyclone were 2,500. All of the Rocket League cars right now are 1,500, including the Jager and the Cyclone. That would have set about a price of 2,500 for the diesel, and that would have meant all the collab cars. No, the diesel was 4,000, not 2,500. But that would have meant all the collab cars would have been probably 5,000 plus V-Bucks if we didn't do something about that. That would have been crazy. That would have been insane. But yeah, for the diesel, it looks really nice, honestly. Looks really nice. Has some pretty unique decals to it. Really unique decals, actually. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they were trying to sell it that much in the first place. But it looks unique. Really nice car overall. Really nice soundings. I'm just lucky those guys didn't start shooting at me back there. But, like, honestly, well, now I think about it off the top of my head, it kind of sounds like it was more of like a PS1 car, maybe PS2. Like, it sounds like it came out like straight out of a PS2 racing game, honestly, from what I remember it sounding like, at least. But, yeah, that's the point of a voiceover. But, yeah, it's a really nice car, though, honestly. But is it worth 4,000 V-Bucks? No, that's why they changed it. Is it worth 2,500 V-Bucks? No, that's why I'm giving it a freaking C-tier car. Because this thing, you cannot compare this thing to the likes of the freaking Skyline that's 2,500. The freaking BMW M240i that's a freaking 2,000. We'll get into those later. So, yeah, this thing deserves to be down in C-tier, honestly. And I'm willing, well, no, I wouldn't, actually, yeah, you know what, we're placing this thing below the Octane, because that's what this thing deserves, honestly. But, I'm not sure what the next car is, but let's move on into that next, so, yeah. And how coincidental this one is, because next up is the second most controversial car inside of Fortnite. It's the Lamborghini Huracan STO, the one car that cost 3,500 V-Bucks still today. And fun fact, this car hasn't been seen in, I think it was 100 plus days now. So this thing's actually becoming a little bit rare. Now, the Lamborghini Huracan STO is an icon, honestly, inside of cars, like inside of just the car atmosphere, because this thing is honestly a really, really nice track car. I think it's a track car, at least. Is it? Somebody will have to tell me down below. I'm pretty sure it might be. I'm not positive. But, yeah, it's a very, very nice car. It looks really, really cool. I love it. Hey, at least this thing can actually, like, look the part of being an expensive car, unlike the diesel. That thing was 4,000 V-Bucks. This thing's 3,500 V-Bucks, and still this thing looks better. Like, which one you gonna take? Honestly, that thing's still 2,500 now, the diesel is. Like, what? But, yeah. Lamborghini Huracan STO. Looks really, really clean. Looks really clean, has high visibility. The only downside is the price, but for that price, you do get the car that looks really nice. I think they added like 4, 5 decals to it recently. I think that was in like chapter 5 though, so yeah. And which hasn't been out since then. But it also, I forgot what I was gonna say. Let me think. Well, it sounds terrible. I'll just say that right now. It sounds absolutely horrendous. You should listen to Inside a Rocket League, because that's where it actually sounds really good at, actually. It sounds really, really cool in Rocket League. So if you are a Rocket League player, I definitely recommend getting this car. I said I don't like the audio for this car as much as the others. It doesn't sound as good as a lot of the other cars. Like, because if Rocket League comes to Fortnite, like the rumors have been going around, I'm not sure. Those are just rumors, by the way. Then I'm hoping they bring the noise of the Lamborghini Huracan STO with Rocket League. But the car at least has 2 wheels. It has 2 wheel sets to come with it, although they're not painted kinds. That's why I use the OEMs with this thing, but still. But overall, the only downside to this car is the price of it. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. But, well, the sound too, but still. But overall, I'd say definitely worth buying in my opinion, if you have the money. That's if you have the money. Now, if you don't have the money, don't buy this thing like I did, because I'm absolutely stupid. I actually got this thing with a freaking PSN card that I got for Christmas in like 2023. So yeah, my butt was saved on that. But yeah, I do really like the car. I'm going to give it. It used to be S tier, but nowadays I'll give it low S tier, because there have been cars that compete with this thing in the field, which we'll get into here in a little bit, like we did with the other ones. But yeah, I'll give it low S tier. And let's get into the next car. All right, so the next car is the Endo. The Endo is a car that I've been known for hating on in the past. I'm not a huge fan of the design overall, honestly. Like, the front is fine, but the back is what gets me. In my opinion, it honestly looks like they just gave up like halfway through it. It looks like the back half is just like half built. The engine's like exposed and everything. I'm just like, why is this car like this? But yeah, it also looks like an egg in my opinion. But yeah, in my opinion though, honestly not bad for 1,500. Honestly, 1,500 V-Bucks will get you this car in every single one of the trim colors. That's the upside to these Rocket League cars, is they actually have these trim colors. But the Endo sounds really, really, really cool. Go ahead and drive it. I like it a lot nowadays, but in the past I've been known for hating on it, like I said, but I just hate the design. I cannot get over the design. It bugs me so much. The way this thing is shaped and the way it looks half built in the back, like they didn't even try to build it, just kind of aggravates me, honestly. This car could have had so much more potential in the backside, but they decided to go and ruin it. But yeah, in my opinion, well, actually, it does look kind of better than most of the other cars with the gaping holes in the middle. But in my opinion, the Endo, oof, that's a toughie, honestly. Ranking this thing is tough, but at the end of the day, I'll give it high C. I'll give it that. Better than the Octane, in my opinion. Better than the Octane, better than the Diesel. Not as good as the Scorpion or the, I mean, not McLaren, but Lamborghini, obviously. But yeah, I like it a lot. All right, now it's time for the McLaren 765 LT. A really, really nice looking car. I compared it to the Cyclone earlier. It's a lot better than the Cyclone, but it looks around the same, honestly. Like, it looks about the same as the Cyclone. But yeah. 2,800 V-Bucks comes with, I think it is 5 decals and 1 wheel set, I believe it was. And yeah, it's not bad for the price at all. It's a supercar McLaren series. No, it actually comes with 2 wheel sets, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it's painted too. I'm pretty sure the wheel sets are painted too. But yeah, It's a 2800 V-Buck car. Really, really nice for the price, honestly. And I'm pretty sure my video on that got like 12,000 views on it. It went crazy whenever I started doing that. This is the car that got me started on my gameplay and review videos on all the cars. So if you guys want to thank anything for it, thank this thing. Because I released this thing and I was just like, yeah, I kind of like doing this. This was pretty fun. Let's just see how it does, and then we'll go off that. And then it did absolutely amazingly. I thank you guys for all the support on that video. But yeah, 2,800 V-Bucks. Like I said, really nice car. It's especially to like by today's standards, even it's still a really, really good car. Honestly. It sounds amazing, looks even better. It's really flat, so it gives high visibility. And in rocket racing, it feels so smooth. Like, there's nothing like this car, honestly. This thing's even better than the freaking Lambo, in my opinion. Okay, hear me out on this, right? A lot of people, whenever this thing came out, said that this thing right here was better than the Lambo and cheaper. And I have to agree. This thing is a lot better than the Lambo and a lot cheaper than the Lambo, and it's a lot more worth it than the Lambo, honestly. Unless you go into Rocket League, then the Lamborghini sound kind of makes up for the high price. Wait, actually no, the Lamborghini used to cost $2,000 in Rocket League, didn't it? Man, that's crazy. It's $3,500 now, but yeah, let's give the McLaren the absolute prestigious honor of being freaking S tier. This thing is beyond S tier, actually, although I can't make any more tiers because this is Fortnite.gg that I'm ranking them on, so yeah. But yeah, we're keeping it up high, S tier, boom, here we go. Alright guys, next is the Diestro. I'm going to be real, alright? We're already like 25 minutes into the video almost. So I'm going to have to keep these short and simple, just kind of like rapid fire them. I'm going to go over detailed explanations of the ones I really like. So the Diestro, 1,500 V-Bucks. If you want all the like trims and stuff like that for it, I love the decals for this thing. Absolutely amazing on the decals. But as for the car itself, it looks like a Roblox car, I'm going to be honest. It looks like a Roblox car from the early 2010s, which most of you probably weren't even alive during the early 2010s, but this thing had a extra gold style that you could get for free if you played on Rocket League Sideswipe during a certain time. And yeah, I really like the gold trim style, but it doesn't really look good unless you have the gold rims or like gold boost to go with it or whatever. But if you're not worried about design, then yeah, this should be pretty good for you. But 1,500 V-Bucks, really good if you are going to buy it. And I would say it sounds pretty nice, honestly. Pretty nice. I'll give it a high B. I'll give it a high B, above the Scorpion, but not too high, you know? Because we got some other cars to go over. We got like 25 more cars left in this thing. So yeah, we got to rapid fire these. Let's get going. Alright guys, next up is the Admiral, one of the first Rocket League Battle Pass cars to come into Fortnite. I believe it was the 5th car that I've ever owned, so yeah, I really like it. It looks like a stock car to me, honestly. It looks kind of like what you would imagine a NASCAR to be if you like were to have it described to you and you didn't know what it was, which I really like that. It looks like it was made for the track, and although it sounds ear-piercing and rocket racing, that gives me a headache just thinking about it. It actually sounds really cool, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite cars still to this day. Well, in terms of like Rocket League originals, but yeah, I'd have to say it's really cool, actually. At pretty sure it's like maybe, I think it's like 4 or 5 decals, I'd say. But the car itself, really nice. Doesn't come with any wheels or anything though, which is a bummer, but yeah. I'll go ahead and give this thing a, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it an A tier. A tier, like mid-A. definitely mid-A, because there are some cars that are going to be better down the line for sure, but yeah. Let's give it mid-A, and let's move on into the Mako. Alright guys, here it is, the Mako. Now, this thing was in the same battle pass as the Admiral. The Mako being, I think it was tier 20. Wait, or was it 40 that you had to get to? No, I think it was tier 20. Current cars are tier 40. But yeah, it has, I think it was the same amount of decals as the Admiral, about 5 or 6, something like that. But yeah, the Mako looks nice, but like it doesn't sound how it looks, if you get what I mean. Like the look doesn't match the sound of the car, in my opinion. It sounds like V8 muscly, that kind of thing, you know? But like try to imagine like the biggest V8 you can find, and then just try to imagine it looking like a sleeper car. And yeah, basically that's what you got for the Mako. I love the big wing though, looks amazing. Really, really, really good design on this thing. But I just wish it would have sounded a little bit different, you know? It would have sounded more how it looked. But free car, if you would have gotten crew, 950, wait, no, it's not 950 credits. I don't know how many Rocket League credits it is if you want to get for the Battle Pass. But either way, you can't get either of these cars anymore because they were Battle Pass, unless Epic decides to bring back old Battle Pass cars. S13, Porsche 911, Honda Civic. Either way, but yeah, I'll give it high B. Actually, no, low B. This thing deserves low B. It's better than all the C-Class cars for sure. Especially that pesky diesel. Anyway, on into the next car. Alright guys, so this next car I had to get my friend's help on getting some gameplay of it, because I actually don't own this thing. Because Epic hasn't brought this thing back out within like the last 100 days or so. And no, it's been like 150 days and I haven't been able to get my hands on it, so yeah. But I love this car, the Dominus GT. I think it sounds amazing. Some people don't really like the sound of it, but I think it sounds amazing, and I love the giant intake coming out the front. But I also like how it stays like true to its like origins of being the original Dominus well enough to like maintain like its original identity. So I think I'm gonna give this thing middle B, because I do like it really well, and it has like the trim. Like it actually has like the color trims, and it's like 1500 V-Bucks. So yeah, I think it deserves like middle B. It's pretty like in the middle, not too good, not too bad, you know? The next car up on our list is the Masamune. Now, this car is 1500 V-Bucks, and it comes with like all the like trims and stuff like that, just like all the rest of the Rocket League cars do. Don't worry, by the way, we're going to be getting them to like all the S tier cars and stuff like that soon. We're going to be getting a lot more up in A and S tier. I know I've got a lot in B tier right now, but that's because we've been going all over the middle cars. But the Masamune, I've never really liked, honestly. I've been seeing a lot of people play with it in like actual like rocket racing lately as like a little bit of a sweatier car. I've never really liked it, honestly, though. Like I don't think I'll really like it until the Kawaii decal comes into freaking Fortnite from Rocket League, honestly, or some of its other better decals than the ones it has right now. The ones it has right now don't really suit it too much, in my opinion, but I would like to say this thing was good, but it's really not. It doesn't look good, it doesn't sound good, and the decals for it aren't that good, so I'm just going to give it a straight D tier. Honestly, first D tier of the video. I've never really liked this thing, honestly. It's the only upside to it, right? The only upside to it is that it feels really, 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 really smooth whenever you actually play with it in rocket racing. That's the only upside to it. It feels so good to play with in rocket racing, and that's something you cannot take away from a car. But yeah, let's give it D tier, and let's get on into the next one. All right, let's get on into the Fuse. Now, this car was for Rocket League, I mean not Rocket League, but Rocket Racing's themed season Neon Drift, I believe it was. Neon Drift. I always forget the names of them. But it was season, I believe, 1 of Rocket Racing, because Season 0 was the beginning, Season 1 was Neon Drift, so yeah. Season 1's starter pack, which, oh my god, I wish we still had the starter packs in. Crap. $10 for a car, and a skin, and all the freaking, not decals, but trim colors to come with it. And decals too! This thing had the first animated decal in Rocket Racing. This thing had like 2 animated decals. No other car still has that today. And we're 1 year later, almost into freaking 2025 when I'm recording this. Is freaking December 29th at 2:20 a.m. Like, what the crap? But, yeah, I just had to go on a little bit of a rant there for a second. But, yeah, this thing looks really, really cool. I love this thing. This is one of my favorite cars design-wise. But there's always a big but, like a really, really, really big but whenever it comes to these cars. And that is this thing's sound. This thing's sound quality is absolutely horrendous. It sounds like a dirt bike. And oh my god, it sounds like a dirt bike if the transmission was blowing up and it was constantly redlining. Like, I'm not sure if our dirt bike can redline, but yeah. But this thing has its decals, and it has its freaking price, as well as its design, all carrying it up to low... Actually, no, not low A. Actually, I don't want to give a high B. How about this? We'll bump the Cyclone up to A, and then we'll give this thing a high B, because, like... Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit crowded in the B's, so yeah. Let's bump the Cyclone up to A and give this thing a high B. Alright, so the next car is the Werewolf. This car, it has decent design, actually. Its design is decent, but it's really flat, which gives it high visibility, and it feels pretty smooth in Rocket Racing, but this thing was good for its time. I'll say that. It was good for its time. Keeping that in mind. Nowadays, though, it's honestly not that good. And you can't really make a good combo with this car because, like, none of the actual decals for this thing work with it really well. And the trim colors, like, are just, like, in weird spots that you can barely see sometimes. So, yeah. Honestly, I would love to give this thing a higher rarity. I mean, not rarity, but tier. But, yeah, it doesn't really sound the best nowadays. It doesn't look the best nowadays. And it's honestly nowhere near the best nowadays. So, I think I'm giving it I think I'll give it a high C, honestly. Not a low B, not like an A or anything. Let's give it a high C, honestly. Not really worth the money anymore. Used to be, but now it's 1,500 V-Bucks still, but with no redeeming qualities on it anymore, besides the fact that it feels smooth. Next, we're on to a car that was like a really good one, in my opinion, back in its time, the Samurai. This car is really flat, giving really high, really high visibility, actually, and I love the like giant like fin on the back, but like the car itself nowadays isn't that good. It's 1,500 and you get all the trim colors, yeah, sure, but like the decals aren't that creative. It kind of looks like a downgraded version of the Ferrari Enzo, in my opinion. So, yeah, but I like the car, but it just can't hold up anymore compared to like how it used to be able to hold up, and compared to the other cars. Otherwise, it would definitely be a higher rating, but I think I'm going to give it about a mid-C, if I'm honest. And the sound, not amazing, honestly. I'm just going to say that right now. Not amazing, but yeah. I think I'll leave it at that mid-C, and we'll move on into the next one. This next car is the Star Wars car. Basically, it's the Beskar. Now, this car comes with, I think it was 4 or 5 decals as well as wheels. And I think it was like 2,800 V-Bucks. It sounds fine, in my opinion, but it doesn't look the greatest. Like, the front's fine, but like the back is kind of what gets me, honestly. And it doesn't really have that much customization to account for it costing 2,800. Although I like how it has that like little scouter thing on the side of it. I like that a lot. But like I said, it doesn't really have that much customization to account for it costing 2,800 because you can only put those 4 decals onto it, or 5, or however many it has. You can't really customize the actual car itself with like a new color or anything like that. So yeah, I'm honestly not really sure where to put this, but I'm thinking probably low B or high C. Yeah, I think I'll do high C. Because like it's better than the Werewolf, but it's not as good as the B tier cars in my opinion. But yeah, let's get on into the next car. I think it's the Centio. All right, yeah, this next car is the Centio. It kind of looks like a track car to me, which I really like, but I don't like how it has such high suspension. Honestly, it looks like it's been lifted off the ground and the wheels are really big on it, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I understand why they had to do it for gameplay reasons. They can't have any more cosmetic advantages over it. But in my opinion, the Centio has probably like the most unique, not like as in terms of numbers, but as in like design decals inside the game. It looks really good with this decals, and I love the fin. I love this spoiler. It sounds pretty decent, and I've seen a lot of people use this in Rocket League, and a lot of people don't like it, but a lot of people also love it. So it really just depends on who you are with the Centio. But in my opinion, the Centio is one of the better cars inside of Rocket Racing as of this current moment if you're looking for one of those cheap 1,500 ones. So I think I'm going to give it definitely an A tier, honestly, because you can't really go wrong with this car besides the suspension. I don't really like how it's lifted like that, but yeah. But I think I'll give it an A tier, and yeah, because like I said, it's 1,500, comes with all the trim colors, sounds nice, looks nice, has really unique decals, and all the decals actually match the car pretty well. So I really like that a lot. So yeah, let's give it A tier. All right, so the next car is the Behemoth. This was Fortnite's first customizable SUV. I believe it was also Megalodon's vehicle on the Chapter 5 Season 3 map, so you got to test drive it if you wanted to on the map, which is really cool. Okay, first let's start with the upsides. The upsides is it's only 1,800 V-Bucks. It comes with 2 wheel sets, I think 5 decals, maybe 6, and you also got to test drive it, like I said, as well as the fact that Rubius is also getting a decal for this thing soon, which is really cool. I like all those factors, especially since an Icon's getting a decal for this thing. That makes it a lot more worth the value, in my opinion, because I'm pretty sure these decals sometimes come exclusive, because we haven't seen the Nick A31 in like 200 days, have we? But yeah, let's move on to the downsides. These are really big downsides that will depreciate the value a lot. Number one being that the visibility in Rocket Racing is low compared to other cars. So if you want an SUV, you can go for the Cybertruck or the Lamborghini Urus. We're going to be getting those, like, we're going to be talking about those later. Both for better visibility. 2, this car steers like a boat. And 3, this car takes up nitro like it just eats it up like crazy. Both of those being only in the Battle Royale map, though, and Rocket Racing wouldn't be fair. That was the thing. But yeah, I can understand why they had to make it do that, because once again, cosmetic advantage. You can't really have that in a game like Fortnite. So yeah, it hurts me, but I think I'm going to have to give it a C, honestly, because there's a better SUV coming up later, and there's also a worse SUV coming up later. So yeah, I'd say we'll give it a C, like right in the middle, because it sounds good. It's definitely worth the value, and it looks amazing. Really menacing too. But yeah, I think I'll give it the C. All right, next up is the second Battle Pass car for Rocket League that came into Fortnite. The Nissan Fairlady Z, as well as the Nissan Fairlady Z RLE. It has 2 styles to it. It's the first car with 2 styles to it. We'll judge the Fairlady Z first. Fairlady Z was like a small compact car. It looked really good, and I'm pretty sure it was also called the Datsun from a lot of people's perspectives. But I'm pretty sure I had 7 decals, the 4 base ones, as well as 3 unique customizable ones. It was at Tier 1 inside the Rocket League Battle Pass during Season 15, while the ZRLE was at Tier 40, I believe it was. And the car looks, sounds, and feels amazing. I think it's definitely worth the value, honestly. Because this car, you can't really go wrong with it, honestly. All you had to do was like get the battle pass on Rocket League and you instantly got it in Fortnite. All you had to do was like grind up for like the other 3 decals, the actual Fairlady Z itself, and the RLE itself, and yeah, you were basically set on that. So I was going to rank these cars individually because they're both like different bodies, but a lot of people also like to classify them both as the same car but with different edit styles, which is the way I'm going to do this one. Now, the only thing I don't like about this car is that the RLE edition kind of gets rid of the mirrors and has no mirrors, so that kind of makes it look a little bit weird in my opinion, seeing a car without mirrors. And I'm pretty sure it also changes up the audio whenever it transforms into a new car. Like whenever you go into the RLE edition from the Fairlady Z, which is really cool. I like that a lot. So I think I'm going to give this thing definitely S tier because 3 reasons. 1, I'm just a sucker for JDM. 2, this was our first car with actual like different styles for it. And 3, it was definitely worth the value. There's no downsides to this car at all. I cannot find a single one, no matter how much I think about it. You need that you need that like car with no downsides to be able to put it into S tier, and that's exactly what this thing has. It has no downsides to it at all. So this thing's definitely going into S tier, probably above the Lambo. Actually, no, above the Lambo and the McLaren for me, I'd say. All right, the next car is actually one that's really worth it, honestly. It's the Backfire. I'm pretty sure this car right here, right? This car right here. It was... Oh, I forgot how much it was. Oh yeah, it was free actually. I forgot. You got it for free from the Metallica quests. And then you also got a... crap. I believe you got a decal. That's what it's called. You got a decal from completing those quests for the Metallica decal. I think it was like 20 quests you had to complete. You also get one other decal for completing one of the Rocket League Battle Passes. I think that was like Season 16. As well as you get another decal. Well, no, that was Season 15 if it was. Or maybe Season 16. I think it was Season 16. Anyway, you get another decal from going into the Season's Rocket League tournaments in Season 17. And this decal is the first actual painted decal inside the game. Like, the first decal that can have actually 3 colors on it at the same time. Which is really cool. I like this thing a lot. But, like, the only thing that gets me off about this thing a little bit is I'm not a huge fan of the sound. I think they could have made it sound a lot more worthy for the car. Like, they could have made it sound like... You know how a car looks how it looks, but it doesn't sound how it looks sometimes? That's how this car is, in my opinion. It doesn't really look how it sounds or sound how it looks, in my opinion. That just sounds weird to me now. But either way, yeah, this car was free, and it definitely it looks really cool. It looks really cool. It looks pretty nice, but I'm not a huge fan of like the 30s, 40s hot rod aesthetic that it has. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think they did pretty good with going for what they were going for with this thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this thing what should I give this thing? I think I'm going to give it a low A tier because everything about this car is free, basically. Literally everything. This was I think it was an event exclusive car, and even if you don't have it from the event, you could still go into Rocket League and get it for free from there by completing some of the tutorials. So this car is basically always for free. You never actually have to buy it. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it like a low A tier for me. Alright, the next car on the list is the Imperator DT5. Now, the Imperator is a car that's pretty controversial over in Rocket League. I don't really know why, but a lot of people seem to love it. A lot of people seem to hate it like the Centio was. But, like, this thing's really flat, which I do like. and I kind of like the design of it, but I'm not a fan of any of the decals, if I'm honest. Like, none of the decals seem to fit it too well, in my opinion, which I don't really like. But the car, you get all the color trims for, like with the other Rocket League cars, and for me, it's just kind of like a mid car, like one like in the middle. It's not too good, it's not too bad. It's just kind of a middle-ish car. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it a low A tier, honestly, because like it's better than a lot of the cars in B, but like it's not quite up to the entire standard of being in like mid or high A. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it a low A. Alright, so the next car we're heading into is the Nissan Performance Z. Now, a lot of people don't like the design of this car, but I honestly like the design pretty well, and I think it sounds really nice. It feels really smooth to play with, and it comes with one wheel set. The 4 base decals do look a lot different on this car than they do on any other car, which I honestly really like, but they're still the 4 base decals, in my opinion, which offsets the value a little bit. Now, this thing is 2,800 V-Bucks, but is it worth that price? I would definitely have to say no. I'd say maybe if it was 2,000, maybe 2,200, then it would be worth it. But 2,800 is not worth it at all. So that depreciates this thing a little bit. I think I'm going to give it a low A tier, because the only really downside to this thing, the only really big downside to this thing is the like actual price itself. And this thing actually was our first reactive car. Whenever you boost, like the back transforms in on itself, which I really like. So yeah, I think we've got to give it that low A tier. All right, the next car on our list is the Pergerine TT. This car was a 1,500 V-Bucks car. It launched at the beginning of Rocket Racing Season 2, I think it was, with Inferno Island. And a lot of people liked it back then, which I really did like it. I love the design of this car. I'm not a huge fan of the sound, because once again, it's one of those cars that like doesn't look how it sounds and doesn't sound how it looks, kind of thing. It was a really good price, like really good value for the price though, coming in at $1,500 with the 4 base decals. None of them really looked that good on the car though, honestly, which is also another depreciate to its value, which I did not like. But the design and the actual like car itself, how it feels to drive, it all felt like really smooth. It looked really good, honestly. And I think because of the looks, I'm gonna give it like a high B tier. But like, there isn't really anything else much going for it, honestly. If you want a good looking car, this is definitely one for you. But you'll have to decide whether you like the decals or not, because I do not like the decals. So I think we've got to give it that high B tier real quick. All right, so the next car is one that I really liked. This one is the Lockjaw. Now, this car was a $10 starter pack when Inferno Island released, which was Season 2 of Rocket Racing. I believe it released about a week or two into the season. By the way, I really miss Rocket Racing seasons, but it came with, I believe it was like the Behemoth. It was like the Behemoth, but in car form. So it had the three unique decals. It had 4 base decals, as well as it came with a skin, a style for the skin, and I think 2 wheel sets. So definitely worth the price. It sounds really good, and it looks even better, honestly. I love the look of this thing. It looks so aggressive and menacing whenever you have it on the track. But a lot of people have a lot of bad memories from this thing, because it was, in Chapter 5, Season 3, it was 2 of the boss cars. I think it was the Machinist's boss car, as well as Ringmaster Scar's boss car. So this thing was an absolute menace out there on the actual, like, wasteland back in that season. But for the car itself, I think I'm definitely going to give it... Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to actually give it low S here, because this thing looks really good. It's worth the value, exponentially so, and there's not really any downsides to it, so yeah, I don't see a reason not to give it S tier. Alright, so it's time to get on Elon Musk's bad side, because next is the Cybertruck. Now, this thing had some upsides to it as well as some downsides to it. The upsides being, it came with a few decals actually. All of them looked really, really nice, and I love the bullet shatter like glass one. I love that one. That's probably one of my favorites. But it also came with an exclusive event decal when it rolls out, which I do really like the event decal pretty well too. But there are a lot of bad sides to it as well, such as the design. Not a huge fan of it, honestly. Looks like a dumpster, maybe a fridge. Also, the fact that it costs 2,800 V-Bucks, because it is nowhere near worth 2,800 V-Bucks. It comes with like, how much decals? I think 5 decals and a wheel set, none of which you can paint over, by the way. So you can't do anything with these decals or the wheel set. You can't change their colors. You can't do nothing with them. No customization at all for this thing. So yeah, definitely not worth 2,800. Number 2, this thing steers like a boat, which we already went over this. Cosmetic advantage, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's just kind of a given with the SUVs. Number 3 is it feels really long in rocket racing, and you can't really see with it in rocket racing, kind of like the Behemoth was. So yeah, but besides that, it's a pretty fun meme vehicle if you're just gonna meme with it. Oh yeah, I forgot it came with a boost too, didn't it? Yeah, well, no, the boost I think was event exclusive during that like challenge event. But yeah, this thing definitely going in D tier. I think below the Masamune actually, because at least the Masamune has some visibility and has some good decals inside of Rocket League. This thing has nothing going for it. So yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it that low D tier. This next one probably has to be one of my favorite Rocket League original cars, being the Insidio. This car was 1,500 V-Bucks, and it came with like all the trim styles and stuff like that, which I really do like. It reminds me of like an old rally car, like an old Ford rally car. I don't know why it reminds me of one, but it really does. I like it a lot. The front looks really good. The back has a few problems, but they can be definitely overlooked. But I won't overlook them for the sake of the video, because I'm trying to give like an accurate response on myself toward these cars. It sounds really, really nice, and it looks really, really good. Yeah, I'd say there's not really any problems with it, because it comes with like 4 unique decals, I think. Well, actually no, it has the stripes, so it's 3 unique decals. All of them actually look amazing on this car. None of them can really be complained about at all, so I think I'll go ahead and give this thing a high A, because the friggin' back is about the only problem I have with it. So yeah, I'll give it a high A. All right, on to the cheapest manufacturer collab car, the BMW M240i. Well, excluding the Battle Pass ones, that is. This one was 2,000 V-Bucks. It came with a set of wheels, as well as I think it was 6 decals. Maybe 5, maybe. I don't remember exactly how many decals. I think it was 5 though, because I remember I had the base ones as well as the BMW exclusive one, but I don't remember any other. It came with the wheels though, which I'm gonna be honest, I never really used the wheels, honestly. But by the value itself, it's really good at a price of 2,000 V-Bucks, honestly. If you're looking for any like manufacturer cars, this is definitely the one to get if you're not going to buy any of the others, because 2,000 V-Bucks for a BMW is pretty nice, in my opinion, honestly. It sounds really good, and it drives really well. It looks really well. Like, it looks like one of those getaway cars you'd see in like a freaking spy movie or something like that. Maybe like a criminal movie or something like that. If you guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, in my opinion, really, really nice car. There isn't really any downsides to it or anything like that, besides for the decals being the base ones. But yeah, it is what it is, because a lot of the cars have that. I think I'll give it low S tier, honestly. Like, really low S tier. It's just, like, on the line there. Because it's definitely worth the value, and there isn't really any problems with the car, visually speaking, or anything like that. And it's really customizable, so, yeah, S tier. Alright, so the next one is the Octane ZSR. I think we're going to keep this one short and sweet, because it's literally just the Octane, but with a different sound, and a little bit souped up, basically. I think it looks better than the Octane, and it comes with about 6 decals, all of which the Octane do not have, but they all look pretty nice, honestly. And, is it worth it to get this over the Octane? In my opinion, yes. Hear me out, right? This thing looks a little bit better than the Octane to me, and you can get all the trim styles for 1,500 V-Bucks, whereas for the Octane, you'd have to get like all the trim styles for like 700 credits each on Rocket League, not including the gold one if you want to get that. But yeah, I think it's definitely very, very much more worth it, unless you're looking for those customizable decals that the Octane has. Then just get that thing. But I think this thing, I'll set it around where the Octane is, and I think a higher C than the Octane. Maybe like a low B. Yeah, I think higher C. Yeah, higher C. Next up is the BMW 1 Series as well as the 1 Series RLE. Now, in my stream, we personally call this the family van because it looks like some sort of like van that your mom would drive you to soccer in, honestly. But I love this thing overall. It feels really smooth. It sounds great, honestly. It's more like a middle car. More like a middle ground car. The only thing is you had to get this during season 16 of Rocket League in the Battle Pass. I think the first one was tier 1, the second one is tier 40. It comes with around 10 decals, being the 4 base ones. I think 3 original ones being at tiers like around 10, 40, and I think around 60. And then there was a custom one that you got from an event in the, it was like a fan event, like a fan custom decal event in season 16. You got that in October. This was the entire like point behind Spooky Month for Rocket League. This was their selling point on the Battle Pass. And the RLE kind of looks like a souped up rally version of it, and it looks absolutely amazing. Both versions do. They both come with 1 tire like thing each, like 1 set of tires each. So yeah, I really like it. I think it's way worth the value, so I'll set it at a little bit of a higher S tier than the Lockjaw, personally, because design-wise, it's fine. Well, actually, no, I'll set this thing at a little bit of a lower S tier. Wait, no, I think I'll do higher, yeah. Because the reason why I was debating on that just now is because it looks like an SUV, but it's really a whiplash, because it's just got a giant roll cage in the back, so you can't get into those back 2 spots. But I think I'll go ahead and give it a little bit of a higher S tier than the Lockjaw. Now it's time for my personal favorite Rocket League original car, being the Redline. This car is 1,500 V-Bucks, and it comes with every single trim in like every single trim color, and it comes with a lot of decals. I think it was 4 decals, maybe 5 decals actually, being the 4 base ones as well as an extra one. Which I don't really mind, honestly, because this thing's design is really, really cool. I love its design. This has to be one of the better designed cars from Rocket League, in my opinion. And the audio from it is also really nice. Now, I've heard this thing was an event car back in the day for Rocket League, so it was supposed to be exclusive. So since this thing came back, right? What are the chances that other like event exclusive cars could come back, like Battle Pass cars and stuff like that, right? So like those who want like maybe the Admiral or the BMW 1 Series or the Mako, the Fairlady Z or whatever, could get those again in the future. Maybe, probably, possibly. It could work. But I heard that this thing had an exclusive gold trim style during the event, which I'm so sad I did not get, because I would have loved to have that style for this car. But yeah, honestly, overall, this car is really nice, amazing, worth the value. There isn't really anything to complain about in it, besides the decals and the lack of creativity behind those. But yeah, I'd say really high A tier, very low S tier for this car overall. For me, probably, yeah, I'd say lower S tier, honestly. Like a little bit, a little bit above, like maybe the Lockjaw. No, a little bit below the Lockjaw, I'd say, because the Lockjaw is like a little bit more cheaper, and it comes with a free skin. So yeah. All right, here is where all the really good goodies start happening. Starting off with the Nissan Skyline, well, Fast and Furious Nissan Skyline. It's an R34. It comes with the car body itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it is 8 or 9 decals, as well as 2 wheel sets that can't be painted, unfortunately. Now, if I were to give one complaint about this car, it's that in its default style, you cannot change the actual color of the like white parts. Like I'll put the video up on screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like the Paul Walker like decal kind of parts right there. But what I love something about this car. There's a lot of things I love about this car actually. The sound is absolutely amazing. It's so good. The design of it is even better in my opinion. I love the new edit style they added for whenever they were bringing this thing into Rocket League with the purple like decal. And I love how they thought to put in a decal to where you can just have a clean slate of a Skyline. You could just have any color you want to on that decal, and there's like no actual decals or anything on it, no stripes, no sponsors or anything like that. It's just a clean Skyline. That's all it is. So yeah. Overall, though, this thing is definitely S tier. This is probably one of the best cars inside of Fortnite as of today. Definitely a top 3 for me. But in terms of value, however, it's $2,500, and it is definitely S tier still. But we'll have to see how it stacks up compared to some other cars on this list a little bit later down the line. Definitely right now, though, #1 car on the spot. Alright, next up is the Marvel Series Mclaren Senna. Now, this thing is an absolute legend, honestly. 2,800 V-Bucks. But it comes with the 4 base styles for the car decals. It comes with 4 Marvel Series decals, being Iron Man, Doctor Doom, War Machine, and Pandora's Armor Doom. It comes with a Victory Gray McLaren style, so that's like, let me think, 9 possible decals for it. And then on top of that, it comes with 5 wheel sets, one of them being fully paintable, and then the other 4 being exclusive to the car, like a Marvel series kind, basically. So this thing is definitely worth the value in terms of the bundle alone. Now, the sound is even better. Honestly, I love the sound of this thing. This thing is even better than the McLaren 765 LT, honestly. But yeah, for all the decals, they do look uniquely, like on the car. They do look really unique on the car. The car itself is really good. The sound's really nice. 2,800 V-Bucks, comes with a bunch of tires, stuff like that. But do we put this higher than the Skyline? Because I like the Skyline a lot, and it's 2,500 V-Bucks while this thing's 2,800. But this thing's bundle has a lot more value into it. 300 V-Bucks more gets you a lot more than the Skyline gives. So, based off of value alone, I would definitely have to say the McLaren Senna's bundle is a lot better than the Skyline. I definitely give the McLaren Senna up there, the top one, the #1 spot right now. In terms of cars, though, like the cars by themselves, I would definitely give it to the Skyline, honestly, because the Skyline has to be one of my favorite cars of all time. So it saddens me to do this, but this tier list is based off the value of these bundles alone so far. So I have to keep that theme going. Therefore, the McLaren Senna will have to take that #1 spot away from the Skyline. Because, like, we're basing it off of a bunch of things overall. the design of the car, the looks, like the sounds, the value, everything like that, right? And the Senna is a very, very, very close second on Skyline on everything except for value. The value heavily outweighs everything else in terms of the McLaren versus the Skyline in this case. So the Senna will have to take that number one spot for right now. But we'll see if something can overthrow this thing here later. We'll just have to see. Until then, though, let's head into the next car. That next car being the 1966 Cadillac Deville. This thing came in originally with Fortnite Remix and the Snoop Dogg skin, having 3 unique decals. I'm pretty sure the reason why hydraulics were introduced into the game was because of this car. It also comes with a wheel set. But right now, in the item shop, there is a Christmas decal, exclusive Christmas decal for this thing. I'm not sure if this thing's ever going to come back out again with that Christmas decal, because the Snoop Dogg skin is only, like the Christmas Snoop Dogg skin is only for this holiday season. There's no other one that's going to be available for, so we'll just have to see. But the Cadillac Deville. Now, I feel like this thing would have been a lot better if they would have kept the hydraulics in. If they would have kept them in as a like edit style or for the car or whatever, but they did not, unfortunately. So yeah, that's going to depreciate this thing's value a little bit in my opinion, because it does look a lot better with the hydraulics. Now the value of the car itself is set at 2,800, which is what Epic sees it as, but I do not see it as anywhere near 2,800. It only comes with 1 wheel set and 3 decals. Let's be real here. So that is definitely going to depreciate this thing's value a lot. On top of that, this thing feels really, really long inside of rocket racing. So it's hard to basically predict where your car is going to end up going sometimes. So that's also going to depreciate this thing's value, in my opinion. So I will set this thing at a mid-A tier, honestly. It looks clean, it sounds clean, and it's really cool for Battle Royale, honestly. As well as the fact that it introduced the hydraulics mechanics, but it doesn't offer enough to be worth that 2,800 value, honestly. So I can't give it anything more than a mid-A, honestly. Alright, now it's time for another amazing car, brilliant car, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Costing 2,800 V-Bucks. This has to be one of the cars I was most excited for to ever come into this game. It has the original 4 base decals. It has 4 original decals. It has 2 wheel sets, and it's absolutely brilliant, honestly, overall. Now, this car is not as worth it as the McLaren Senna in terms of value if you're looking for like wheel sets and stuff like that, but it is in terms of design, honestly. The design and the noise are a lot better on this car, as well as the design of the decals themselves. The decals look a lot better than they did on the McLaren Senna, and it has a lot more customizability, or whatever you want to call it, basically. Because one of the decals, actually, the GT3 RS decal does change the color slightly of any color that you choose to put on it, basically. Put onto the main body, even. It changes the colors of the main body as well as the actual decal itself. So, in my opinion, this could be potentially the best in terms of value car inside the game currently, because of that like slight change into it. That doubles all the colors that it has. It comes with like 9 decals. It comes with 2 wheel sets, and it comes with an amazing, brilliant track car that looks absolutely amazing. It feels amazing, and it sounds even better. So, do I give it that number 1 spot? I think I do, honestly. I really think I do, because there isn't really a car that's better than this. And this is like one of the most iconic cars in the game, and it's one of the most best valued cars in the game right now, honestly. once again, these are just purely off of value itself, in my opinion. Not off of the cars themselves, basically. So a lot of things like combine into these decisions, and I think right now the Porsche 911 GT3 RS is the best car inside the game. But we're going to be moving on into the next car. The next car being the Fast and Furious Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember exactly how much this thing was, but I'm pretty sure it was $2,800, coming with 6 decals, I believe, maybe 7, as well as a wheel set, being like its iconic wheels, but you can only have them in black, I'm pretty sure it was, basically. But yeah, for the Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat, it sounds absolutely amazing. I love the sound of this thing. You can hear a supercharger on it and everything like that. It's crazy. The look of it is even better, honestly. I'd probably say this is my favorite muscle car inside the game currently, because it's one of the better ones, honestly. It's a Dodge. It's the only Dodge that we have right now. It's the Hellcat, and it's absolutely amazing. I would probably say it's middle S tier right now, honestly. Like, it's not the best in terms of value, but it's also not the worst in terms of value and like the S tier cars. I'd say it's a lot better than most of the other cars though. But I do want to make a few adjustments on the thing real quick on the tier list, because there are a little bit too many S tiers right now. So let's make a little bit of an adjustment. All right, next we're going on into the Void Burn. Now, this car has 6 decals, and it has, I think it is 3 wheel sets, 2 of them being separate ones, and then 1 being a combination between the other 2, making them go into the front wheel and the back wheel, which is really cool. I really like that. But yeah, the car itself looks really, really clean. It looks like a mixture. Okay, the front looks like a Honda S2000 to me in a way. I don't know what it is, but it kind of looks like it to me. But the back kind of looks like an Audi R8 at the same time. So it's kind of like a mixture between 2 cars that we already know very, very well, honestly. And I feel like that gives it a little bit of a boost, in my opinion. But it is 1,800 V-Bucks, coming with the 4 base styles, like the 4 base decals, as well as 2 unique ones that look really, really good in my opinion, and the 3 wheel sets, like I said earlier. But yeah, this car is definitely worth the value, in my opinion. It's a lot more worth the value than a lot of other cars, because they're trying to charge like $2,800 for most of these cars. So, and then this car comes along being basically a mixture of 2 collab cars and adding on a bunch of like wheels and decals and stuff like that. It sounds amazing, and it looks incredible, honestly. I told you guys we were getting into the goodies earlier. I think I did, at least. And these kind of cars are what I meant. The Porsche, the Skyline, the Void Burn, everything like this looks incredible. And all the cars they're releasing this season are absolutely amazing, and I would definitely give this thing like high A tier, low S tier, if I'm honest. I think I'll give it low S tier, because I already got an idea for a high A tier later on, which we'll get into later. So yeah, let's give this thing low S tier, like low S tier. Alright, now we're into the Shokunin, which is this current Battle Pass car in Rocket League, as well as the Shokunin GXT. Now, the Shokunin has, I think it's tier 1, and it has all the base decals, which there are 4 of them, and I think 3 unique decals. It also comes with the Shokunin GXT, which is the devolved version over at tier 40. That is in this current Rocket Pass. I'm not sure when this one's ending or not, but yeah. Right now we're in season 17 of Rocket League, so that should give you an idea of when it is, if you guys are watching in the future. But the Shokunin is a very, very nice car, looking like to me it looks like a mixture between the Fennec as well as the what's it called again? The Terreno, the Toyota 86 Terreno. It looks really, really cool in my opinion. And it sounds really nice. I like the big wing on the GXT as well. Like, the GXT has a very, very nice evolution to it, in my opinion. the entire car looks evolved into like a different car, honestly. And I'd say this thing is overall, in terms of value, this thing is another Rocket Pass car. So I would say it does compete with the Nissan Fairlady Z as well as the BMW Type 1. I keep forgetting what it's called. But either way, I would say it would compete with those two, especially since it seems like they went ahead and fit this car and with the theme of this season inside of Fortnite. It seems like they released both this season of Rocket League and this season of Fortnite at the same time intentionally to tell us something, honestly. I've heard rumors that Rocket League might be coming into Fortnite later on, but those still are not confirmed or denied yet, so we'll just have to see about that. But I give the Shokunin I'll give it a little bit of a lower S tier. Not really, really low, but a little bit lower into the S tier because this is still an amazing car with amazing value for like how it is currently. So next, let's talk about the Incredible. Now, this thing honestly isn't worth it, in my opinion. It's 1,800 V-Bucks. The car doesn't look or sound that good. And it does come with 2 decals and some wheels, but you can't customize any of the decals or anything. Like, there's not really any point to buying this car unless you're an Incredibles fan. And even then, it's not really justifiable in the purchase just because the fact that it doesn't offer anything. There's no customization. The car isn't really that good, honestly, unless you're looking at the front. The front looks really cool. It looks like an old freaking 50s or 60s car that they would imagine in the future or something like that. But yeah, honestly, not really worth it in my opinion at all. That's why I'd say this is bottom of D tier, honestly. This car is the bottom of the bottom. This is the bottom of the barrel right here because it's simply just not really worth it at all. So yeah, but let's get into the next car being I'm not sure which one it is actually. The next car is the Lamborghini Urus SE. The Lamborghini Urus is a very, very nice car. I've been waiting for this thing for a while. The only thing about it is it's an SUV, so it does take up a lot of nitro and a lot of understeer. Well, yeah, understeer. Compared to the other cars. It comes with, I think it is 8 decals, 4 of the base decals, 4 of its own unique decals, some of which, I'm not sure if some of which are customizable or not. And then it also comes with a pair of wheels. I don't think they're paintable, unfortunately, though. But this SUV has to be the best one inside the game currently, honestly. Because the other two are really, really big. They're like really big cars, and they're not really, you can't really see out of them too well in rocket racing, especially. While the Urus SE is about the size of a Whiplash. It's about the size of like all the other like regular cars, honestly. So I think that makes it a lot more worth it, as well as the fact that it comes with all these decals and it has the wheels, and oh, the sound of this thing is crazy. I love the sound of this freaking car. But yeah, I'd say, oh, I forgot how much it is. I think it's 2,800. I'd say it's definitely a lot more worth it than the other two SUVs, except for the Behemoth whenever the Rubius decal comes out. Unless you're playing rocket racing, then obviously go for the Urus. But yeah, I'd say definitely worth it. I'll put it in, you know what? I'll put it mid-A, high-A, actually, because yeah, I feel like it's pretty good. Really good car. Alright, so it's time for the last car of the video, the Cyberpunk car, the Quadra Turbo R. Now this car has all 4 of the base decals as well as 4 of its own unique decals. I believe it's 4, maybe 3. But it also has its own wheel set as well. So it's 1,000 less than the Porsche as well as like the Skyline them. And it has just as much to offer as those cars in terms of value. And it also looks like a modified Whiplash, which looks absolutely amazing. The sound of this car is also really good, and it has its own honking audio as well, which is really, really good in my opinion. All that stuff going into like one car that's 1,800 V-Bucks. This has to be the best quality, like, freaking, what you call it? Hold on, I'll think of it. Affordable. You guys will know what I mean. Car in the game. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, it's really, really good, and I think it's definitely deserves number 1 on this list. And yeah, I would go as far to say that this car probably won't be beaten anytime soon. But I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on this video. Would you guys like me to do one at the mid-year and at the end of the year for this year? Or would you guys like me to do one at the end of the year again? Because if these happen every single year and they all turn out to be an hour and a half, then that's going to be crazy. But I do still plan on doing my car reviews. I plan on doing another one of these next year, as well as doing all my regular live streams and stuff. So stop on by then, and like the video, subscribe, use code CVT, and tell me what you guys would change about this car to your list in the comments down below. We're supposed to be getting a NASCAR collab really soon, actually, from what I heard. I think it's coming in like 2025, right? I think it is. But anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.